So today's video actually comes from our training program and community that we offer all the installers that are on board with us. So essentially this program covers everything from marketing, sales, telesales, all specific to the renewables industry. So this video in particular comes from our new module on marketing and sales mindset. So this video is the first video in that module. It covers essentially how installers with no marketing or no sales experience can get in the right mindset to start pushing their marketing and sales, because we've seen it a lot with installers that come on board of us or just other installers in the industry that have never spent a penny on marketing, or they might have spent a lot on marketing and not got anything back from it. Essentially it runs through how they can get rid of any limiting beliefs and get in the right mindset to actually make it a success. So if you do like what you see in this video, then you can obviously check out the rest of our channel for more content, and there is also a link in the description to go through a bit more about what we offer in terms of lead generation and other services to renewables installers. Hello and welcome to Marketing and Sales Mindset. So in today's video we're going to cover a few things about how to get into the right mindset if you are going to do more marketing and sales within your business. So to do that, first of all, we'll cover what exactly is a marketing and sales mindset, debunk the marketing doesn't work myth, look through what you actually need to succeed at marketing, go through some common mistakes that we see from installers, both clients and just generally in the industry, and then finally look at how we can bridge the gap between marketing and sales which exists for a lot of companies. So getting straight into it, as I mentioned, we'll cover how to get in the right mindset for marketing and sales. And by that I mean when installers say things like marketing doesn't work or I'm not a salesman, these are faulty and what I call limiting beliefs that hold installers back from actually reaching their potential in terms of install numbers, revenue, however you want to look at it. So the reason a lot of installers say marketing doesn't work or I'm not a salesman is because it's often an easy way out when they don't see instant results or when things go wrong and installers don't have the resilience or even the knowledge to work to get things right. It's easier to kind of throw those phrases or terms around than it is to actually knuckle down and actually fix the issues within your business, because in 90% of cases the lead quality or the fact you're using Facebook is not the issue. A lot of the time it's how you're handling the leads, it's a lack of patience, a lack of consistency, and those issues stem from having the wrong mindset actually going into your marketing and sales campaigns. So what I'm trying to say is in most cases what's often broken isn't the marketing, it's beliefs, systems, sales processes, and that's what we'll look at in today's video to make sure that your beliefs around marketing and sales and your mindset is where it needs to be before you get started. So jumping into my definition of a marketing and sales mindset, essentially it's the belief and commitment that attracting leads, aka marketing, and converting them into paying customers, sales, are not separate actions but a continuous and essential system for growing your business that you need to commit to mastering. So in yellow I've highlighted kind of the three components I think are the most important. So the fact, firstly, that marketing and sales are not separate. Secondly, the fact that they are essential if your business is looking to grow. And then finally, it's something that you need to commit to mastering, so you can't delegate it, outsource it. You need to, as the business owner, to understand marketing and sales. So in a bit more detail, it's kind of understanding that marketing is not a one-off event, but it's a consistent effort to generate attention, inquiries, leads, whatever you want to call it. And then that sales is a extension of marketing, so not something separate, but just the next stage of the process once you have those inquiries. It's about guiding potential customers through into becoming customers and actual revenue for your business. And both of these things require ongoing learning, measurement and improvement. So just like your skills actually installing solar or whatever trade it is you're in, it's something that you don't just pick up the tools and know what you're doing straight away. You need to commit to actually learning it, give it a bit of time, and actually work to improve to see those results. And kind of fourth and finally, touching on these points, that the success or failure of marketing and sales is your responsibility as the business owner. It's not the customer, it's not the platform you're using, it's not that marketing doesn't work, it's not the leads, it's you. You have not perfected your marketing and sales system yet. So before we kind of get into any more detail on those points, the first thing I want to run through is the marketing doesn't work myth. So the most common thing that we hear from installers on sales calls or just speaking to them is some form of digital marketing doesn't work. So I tried it before and got no leads. I don't want to pay up front. I don't want to do digital marketing, whatever it might be, some sort of variation of this phrase. But when we dig a little bit deeper, it's rarely marketing that's the issue. It's usually one of the two below things. So firstly, it's a lack of patience. So they might have run ads for a few weeks, didn't get instant results and pulled the plug, rather than kind of looking internally at what went wrong and what they can improve. And then secondly, is poor lead handling. So they might have got inquiries, they weren't followed up quickly, consistently, the company aren't very good at sales, so they just blame the leads of poor quality and switch everything off. So as I sort of touched upon earlier, it's not that marketing doesn't work, it's not that you can't sell, it's the fact that you haven't committed to actually getting better at it yet. So think of marketing or sales like going to the gym. If you go to the gym once, i.e. just turn your ads on, it's not going to change how your body looks. But if you show up every day, follow the process, put the reps in, you're going to see results, you're going to get better. So, and this is a fact, this is not my opinion, marketing does work, you just need to train your mindset and belief systems around it so that you, as the business owner, can actually commit to getting better at both marketing and sales. So, just to round this off, I've got 3 logical examples that show marketing does work for anyone that's still skeptical. So the first one is we have a client that spends £100,000 every single month on Facebook ads. They've been doing this consistently now for the last 6 or 7 months. They would not have spent over £500,000 advertising if marketing doesn't work. Second is Coca-Cola, obviously a massive company. They spend $4 billion per year globally on marketing. Again, do you think a company like Coca-Cola would spend billions and billions of pounds every year on marketing if they didn't get anything back from it? And then finally, again linking back to Meta ads, $426 million is spent every single day on Facebook and Instagram by advertisers. Do you think that $400 million will be spent every single day if it didn't lead to some sort of revenue in the back end? So yeah, before we get any further, if you're still skeptical about marketing, still think it doesn't work, hopefully these examples and what I've just run through breaks it down a little bit more. Marketing does work, you can sell, you just need to work at getting better at them and shift your mindset to it. So in terms of what you actually need to succeed with a marketing and sales process, it's pretty simple, but not as simple as a lot of installers think. So a lot of the time we speak to installers, they think we'll hire this agency, they'll turn the ads on, we'll get loads of leads flooding in. The truth is that can happen, but only when the foundations are in place. If it was as easy as you put £1 into Facebook and get £5 back out with no sort of skill required, then everyone in the industry would be a millionaire and kind of our type of business would not exist. But the truth is you really only need 3 things in place to actually make marketing and sales predictable and easy. So the first one is a process for getting more inquiries, i.e. a marketing system. Second is a process for getting hold of those inquiries and actually converting them through to the opportunity to quote them or survey them, which is how you actually handle leads and essentially telesales. And then thirdly is a process for converting surveys to installs, so that is a sales system. And I mean, if you're an Eco4 installer or on any sort of government scheme, you really only need the first 2, which is getting inquiries and converting inquiries into surveys, so that becomes even easier. So hopefully when it's broken down like that, it's much less daunting. You just need to have those 3 systems running like clockwork, and it's pretty hard not to make money. It's just then about staying in control of the numbers, making small adjustments as things change, as the industry changes. But if you've got a marketing system producing a lot of leads, you've got a process that can turn those into surveys predictably, and you've got a sales system that is going to convert those surveys into sales predictably, then it's pretty hard not to make money. However, if you have one, even half of one system that's not working properly, or even worse, more, then you have a leaky process and you're probably losing out a lot of money. And similarly, if you're not consistent with it, then you're not going to win. It takes time to perfect a process, so you need to give it time and actually commit to learning and improving these 3 processes up here. So rather than saying it doesn't work, saying I'm not getting enough leads or these leads aren't converting, identify where the issues lie within these 3 systems, which means you should actually know all of your data, which we'll go through later on in the program. And then you need to work to get all 3 of these systems running like clockwork, because when they are running like clockwork, you will make money through your marketing and sales efforts. So again, just to reaffirm, marketing does work and sales can be learned. It just takes a bit of time to perfect and actually get things running. So just in terms of some common mistakes that we see that break kind of these systems up here, I'm sure that a lot of people watching this probably going to relate to this, is they might call a lead once through Facebook, it doesn't convert or they don't pick up, and then they don't blame that as a low quality lead. They rely on gut feeling rather than data, so they just think, oh, this probably isn't working, I'm going to turn it off, rather than actually understanding the numbers. You might have given up on your advertising campaign after a couple of slow weeks instead of actually refining the process and improving results. You might not have a clear sales system for actually quoting and converting customers, and you might actually never review what is working in your business and what's not working in your business. So these are just some of the examples that you're in the wrong mindset around marketing and sales, and you haven't actually committed to mastering it yet. And just to sort of reaffirm, if your system isn't perfect, so if you are trying any of these three or you haven't tried them yet and they're not perfect, then that's okay, because all the businesses that we work with that do the most installs, it's taken them a while to get good at marketing, a while to get good at sales, and they didn't figure out on day one. So kind of referring back to our definition earlier, if I find it at the top. So the main thing that I covered right now is that you need to commit to mastering marketing and sales. That's sort of the first part of getting in that mindset, is saying to yourself that you're actually going to get better at it, you're going to work on it, you're not just going to outsource it, switch it off, or whatever else you might have done previously. Next thing I'll cover is bridging the gap between sales and marketing. So by this I mean we speak to a lot of installers where they might hire an agency or they have a lead provider, and in their head, on the one side, the marketing agency is the one that provides the leads and they are the one that does the sales. So they see them as two very separate things rather than being part of the same system. They expect the marketing agency to deliver leads and those leads will just convert into sales with no sort of relationship or working done between the two systems. So just to be clear, more leads does not always mean more customers. Leads are opportunities, it's really kind of what you do with them that matters. So a major reason that installers struggle for growth is that they see these two things as different. Kind of marketing chucks the leads at them and then sales takes it from there. They don't provide the marketing company any feedback, and vice versa, the marketing company may not take any of the feedback if they're provided it from the guys doing the sales. And this sort of mindset in business is a killer if your marketing and your sales are not on the same page. Because in reality, marketing and sales are one continuous system. They work hand in hand, and if one is weak, then the whole system underperforms. So if you can't consistently convert inquiries into installs, then more leads won't fix that, they'll just expose it. And similarly, if you're in the mindset that marketing and sales are two separate parts of your business, then you won't win. So more often than not, it's not that these leads are poor quality or we need a new salesperson, because these phrases fundamentally put you in the wrong mindset that one of marketing and sales is to blame and it's not part of the same system. So what you need to do, even if you have outsourced your marketing or delegated it to a team member, you need to make sure that you're looking at the whole system from the initial inquiry through to the actual install as part of the same system, and make sure everything you're doing on the front end with the marketing is based on the feedback of the sales team and why leads aren't qualifying, why leads are converting. And similarly, you need to make sure that the salespeople aren't seeing the leads as black or white, either these are good or bad. They need to be giving their feedback and suggestions on how the system as a whole can improve. So just to help you visualize this, and this diagram is something that I'll touch upon in a later module, is the leaky pipe analogy. So if you have got a marketing and sales system, which is obviously this pipe here, it's all part of the one system. So if you have got any leaks or any cracks in there, it just affects everything. So it's not just the marketing, it's not just the sales, it all flows as one. And if either the marketing is out of whack or the sales is out of whack, all you're going to be doing is leaking water, or in this case, aka money and sales. So some common red flags that might help you spot this disconnect in your business is your sales team saying we need better leads, but they aren't actually following up on these leads properly, they aren't providing proper feedback to the marketing team, and there's just a disconnect. It's black or white, these leads are good or they're bad. Secondly is these sales aren't closing. Again, these leads might not have been called fast enough, they might not have been nurtured the correct way pre-appointment by the marketing team. You need to understand and deep dive into why they actually aren't closing. We need a new salesperson. But again, your marketing might be attracted to the wrong type of lead, someone who can't afford to service, someone who isn't eligible for the Eco4 scheme. So it's not the salesperson's fault, it's a marketing issue on the front end, and there's a big disconnect in that system. So all of these phrases are just examples of a dangerous separation between sales and marketing, and also they shift accountability away from the business owner. And your marketing and sales systems, even again if you have outsourced it or delegated it, they're your systems that your business kind of own and optimize, and you need to make sure your marketing and your sales are on the same page. So one easy way to visualize this is thinking of your marketing and sales like a production line. So everything from cold traffic through to confirmed installs is part of this one production line here. So if something's not working, if you're not getting the results you want, you wouldn't shut down the whole factory. You'd figure out where the bottleneck is and make sure you go ahead and fix that. So for example, if you're getting a lot of leads but not a lot of surveys, then the issue within the production line, aka your sales process, is probably the follow-up. So how quickly are you calling leads? How good are the people on the phones? How often are you following up? Things like that. So rather than switching things off, you need to actually understand where the issues lie and then be in the mindset that you can actually fix it rather than just turning it off. So again, going back to the definition earlier and the stuff I highlighted in yellow, sales and marketing are not separate actions. They're part of the same system, and they are essential if you want to keep growing your business. So if you've got ambitions to do more you're doing now, it's not an option. It's not optional to do marketing and sales. Like, you need to be doing them. So if you're a company that jumps from one agency to another, you start an advertising campaign, you switch it off, you buy leads from here, then you stop, then you're not going to get anywhere. You need to actually understand where the issues lie and then commit to fixing them. So just to kind of summarize, marketing and sales is about consistent inputs and not instant outputs. So if you are looking for instant results with marketing and sales, you'll always be disappointed. There is no magic lead source out there that's going to fix your marketing and sales if you've not committed to doing it yourself. So the goal of the marketing is not to close a deal tomorrow or scale, double the amount of installs by next month. It's to consistently create new opportunities and consistently get better every single week. So just to summarize, the fact you're even in this program, the fact you've even signed up with us to generate your leads, you're not just an installer anymore, you're running a business, and businesses grow through marketing and sales systems and not just blind luck. So the purpose of this video was to get you to understand that marketing and sales need to be part of the same process, to get you to understand that they are essential, that they work. It just takes a bit of time to master. So hopefully this has helped getting rid of any faulty beliefs you've had around marketing or sales. So in other words, they're just another skill that you need to master, like cooking or playing golf or installing solar panels. So hopefully throughout the remainder of this module, throughout the remainder of your time working with us, you keep this video in mind and understand that if things go slow for a period, if things don't work initially, that you need to be in the mindset it can be fixed and not just go and switch things off. But that's all for this video. Any questions, or if you run into issues with any of the concepts we discussed, as always, feel free to reach out to us directly, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.